she's the queen of still doing a 1-over, like a free ball, and getting a kill versus 4 people on a small court. I'm like, how does she do that?
It's impressive.
Yeah.
She kind of do you do it when we're like not paying attention? It's like we're trying to get back to our position and we're falling asleep. But like you're so fun to play with against 4s because you just dominate.
Chameleon eyes. You know,
yeah.
When I go one way and when I no.
Welcome to Bet on Her, the empowering podcast that highlights remarkable women who have conquered challenges, shattered glass ceilings, and blazed trails in their respective fields. We're your hosts, Gina, Kelly, and myself, Dana. And today, this podcast is sponsored by Trust and Will. We have the incredible honor of featuring an extraordinary athlete who has left an indelible impact on the world of beach volleyball. Get ready to inspire as we delve into an awe-inspiring journey of Misty May-Treanor. Misty May, a name synonymous with excellence, tenacity, and unyielding determination, has redefined the game of beach volleyball. As a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, she has defied expectations and overcome countless obstacles to become a true icon in the world of sports. Her relentless pursuit of greatness and unwavering self-belief make her a beacon of inspiration for women everywhere. Welcome, Misty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
That gave me chills.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was texting with Kerri this morning, and I told her you were coming on the podcast, and she's like, tell her she's mystical.
Oh, well, I'm glad she answers the phone for you because I tried calling her. We had this thing. I was supposed to call her on the way in. She's on a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
Sorry. Don't leave it. You know, her thing. Sorry, don't leave a message text while I'm driving, so I can't message box full. So I'm glad she picked up for you.
Yeah, she asked me to call her after
Okay.
my podcast. No,
So
we have a
good.
meeting after. I'll tell her that you called.
Let her know I'm waiting for a phone call. 4-hour drive.
Oh man, well, we're so happy to have you on here.
Yeah.
And it's always just so great, I feel like, to be in your presence. And I've met you when I was really young, and I think that's one thing that's so special about you as an athlete is that you're so personable, and you remembered my name, and every time I saw you, you'd be like, Gina, how's it going? I'm like, oh my God, Misty knows my name. But like, I mean, obviously I've gotten to know you more, but I just wanted you to know what an impression that made on me, and I'm sure that you've made an impression like that on other people as well. So
I hope so, and I hope I remember their names like yours. As we get older, you know, the memory fades.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. But we kind of wanted to start getting into what you've been up to, lately, because I know that you helped out at a couple different schools. You did some panels, and then you also still play 4s with, you stay connected with some old players and friends that you used to compete against or with. Weren't you teaching like an Orange Theory class too?
It was COVID. I was like, I'll get my personal training license. I mean, I like doing a bunch of things. I have to stay busy. But I'm learning with kids not too busy because they take up the majority of your time. So during COVID, I got my personal training and started teaching classes at Orange Theory. Then when school went back in, I said, I can't teach the early 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. anymore. Still worked out there, and then just kind of fizzled. And now I teach a class at F45. So I work out at F45 and I teach a class at F45 because they asked me. I was like, okay, I'll fill in. No worries. Like, I like yelling at people.
How many classes do you teach in a week?
Just one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it felt nothing wrong like with any workout.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me, even as a professional athlete, a while to find out what worked best for me. It's like you're always constantly learning. There's new things being taught, and it's what works best for your body. And I liked Orange Theory when I was pregnant, and but I'm not a runner anymore because I have a metal knee. So I became a power walker, and then it was rowing, and I still enjoy it. It was a lot of cardio, which I liked. Mm-hmm. But the F45 now I feel is more cohesive to what I did as an athlete, like the cleans and kind of the more of the weight portion.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love F45. Do you guys ever take a class?
Yeah, I have. I like the circuit aspect of it because you're getting cardio as well as strength training. Yeah. So it's all everything you could want.
And I just like to stay active.
Yeah.
I have to. I got to keep moving for my kids.
Seriously.
And for the 4s.
Yeah.
We have players like Gina, Kelly came out, and I'm like, I I don't want to get pegged in the head.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're
So I gotta.
okay.
keep
Can we talk?
moving.
We need to talk about the fours.
Misty's like the MVP of these fours event. Yeah.
So it's like you can give a little context, but like explain kind of what fours for people who don't really know what we're talking about.
So 4-on-4, I really like it because if you're a beginner or an indoor player wanting to make a transition out, I would recommend playing fours because you get a setter, you got 3 hitters or 2 hitters and a defender. There's just more people on the court. Now, I'm not going to say older people, the veterans that we all get together Thursday, and a couple of us have titanium joints. So we have to add more people. But we get our 2 games in. We took it back old school. So you got to serve for a point. But we still have the let's serve and all that. But the rallies last at least like 45 seconds to a minute. I mean, they could be long. But when I started to come back, I was like, okay, I'll just be the defender and run around. They were like, no, we need you to hit. So I hit and block but it's fun. It's exercise, whether you win or lose. It's just the calories being burned and exercise and having fun and laughing and
yeah,
a good time.
And staying connected with those people too. I jump in every now and then. Kelly does too, but
every once in a while. But
Misty's still she's the queen of still doing a 1-over, like a free ball, and getting a kill versus 4 people on a small court. I'm like, how does she do that?
it's impressive.
Yeah.
Kind of. Do you do it when we're like not paying attention? It's like we're trying to get back to our position and we're falling asleep. But like you're so fun to play with against fours because you just dominate.
Chameleon eyes.
Yeah.
When I go one way and when I no.
That's talent right there.
I love it. It's
That's so fun. I'd love to see that one day.
You should come.
I'd love to film it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
If you play this Thursday, I'm playing.
Okay.
Maybe Dan.
I just haven't put my in.
Yeah.
So I'll go back and I'll type the IN.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
all caps.
IN.
Yeah.
And then what about so how old are your daughters now?
So Matt and I have 3. So we have
Yes.
twins that are 5. And then Malia's 8. She'll be 9 2 weeks from now.
Oh,
So,
crazy.
yeah. So time is flying by.
Mhm.
So we're busy with them. So going back to kind of what we're doing, both retired, just keep my hand in things. I was assistant coach for Little Juice's soccer team, and I was the aggro coach. It's like 5 years old. You're not listening, do push-ups or jumping jacks, whatever, Get to the back of the line. I even kicked my own kids out. Oh, there went the ball. Get to the back of the line. You don't get another turn. Wait your turn. But I was assistant for that. And then we do a lot of volunteer at the schools. And then we started a family foundation. So this will kind of be the first time talking about it because I want to make sure everything was in order. But the MT Ohana Foundation. So our first kind of fundraiser, it is going to be raised for Barbara May Scholarship. So I wanted to do something in memorial to people that I've lost, that Matt's lost, and be able to give back. So the foundation isn't geared towards one aspect because I love animals. So we have an animal aspect, like we can give to different charities. My mom was cancer. I want to give scholarships for up and coming players because that's where I started. I went to a local, it was called Long Beach Century Club when I started out on the AVP tour. I couldn't afford my first trip. So I went to them and asked for like a grant of money to fly me to Fort Lauderdale and was able to kind of start the process there. So I want to be able to offer that because I was lucky enough to do that, but just using our voice and being able to give back and showing our kids the importance of giving back. So we're going to raise money for Barbara May Scholarship. And I talked to CB at the CBVA for the Hall of Fame, and we will offer 2. There'll be a process. So we're going to put the application online shortly, but we'll offer 2 scholarships to the winners of, I think it's the Cal Cup or whatever for the young players. So 1 boy, 1 girl will get money divvied out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
To help pay for training. And
Very
eventually
cool.
I want it to cross over. I thought, on the more professional side, like I said, one of my trips, if somebody needs a grant, being able to offer that, because I know how it is. I know how tough it is, some paycheck to paycheck, some carry jobs. And it's like just even offering a plane ticket or hotel stay can make the difference between main draw and qualify,
Yeah.
It
Totally.
can help. So just pushing that. But again, just using our voice, and I wanted something that was legacy for my kids to be able to give back. And
What was the name of it again?
it's the May-Treanor Ohana Foundation,
Okay.
but website, I did it myself, but mtohanafoundation.org.
Awesome.
So
We'll have to check that out.
it's a work in progress, but
Yeah.
We'll
we're
plug it
having
in.
fun.
Yeah.
So
And then
Mhm.
your daughters are interested in a lot of different sports too, right? NASCAR, one of them?
we love NASCAR.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love NASCAR. We love hockey. In fact, my driver won this week. I was busy at a birthday party at Soak City this weekend, but I was like, all right, Kyle Larson won. All right. He won the all-star race this weekend. But we like to have them into everything. I think being a kid at this point in time is so important. Everybody's becoming specialized, but I still believe in you are a kid, even a junior, you're a young athlete, play as many sports, get involved, get uncomfortable, meet new people, because you just never know what's going to happen with your body, what's going to happen with your mind, growth spurt, whatnot, what you end up loving, enjoying, scholarships available. So I like to see them introduced to a bunch of different activities, and ultimately they can decide.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's important. Makes for well-rounded athletes. And one athlete I think that is well-rounded and obviously excelling right now that you've, I think, been a mentor towards is Sarah Hughes, who's obviously a big name in the beach volleyball sport right now. But kind of like wanted to ask like maybe who your mentor was when you were playing, and then kind of maybe if you wanted to get into the relationship between you and Sarah as well.
I mean, I think there were a lot of mentors. I looked up to everybody. AVP was very male dominated, so I always watched Kurt Cry play and like St. John Smith, and I'd watch them. And then they started to have I think they only had 4 players, but the women would play a match before the finals, and so you had Cami Sorelli and Holly and Angela Rock, and so I grew up watching them play. So I would say I tried to model my game, or I tried to pick different aspects of everybody's game to help study and develop mine. But coming into the professional level, I would say Holly was probably one of the most important. She took me under her wing, and just to learn from her. Traveling, I made my mistakes. I gave her all the gray hair she has now is because of me. She keeps it covered, but all the gray hair. But I would say she would be one of the biggest mentors, because on the traveling, on the professional side. But our parents, they're there and they kind of help guide and lead you, and they're a sounding board for you. So, I mean, for me, I would say everybody had kind of a piece in what I was able to accomplish.
Yeah, good support system and good people to look up to. And then I know your father, Butch, he's still coaching too, right? Or still helping out a little bit?
He shuffles around out there.
Yeah.
Really shuffles.
Define shuffling.
He leans
Shuffling.
forward and goes. No, but he still will get out there, and it keeps him going. He was at the AVP over the weekend, and he actually left Malia's track meet and then went right to the AVP. And he's good friends with the Crab Brothers' dad.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
With Chris. So he enjoys watching all the players, and he was excited to see. I think Brent Doble was down there. He said he ran into him, and he was excited to see him, and just it brings back probably a lot of memories for him. But he does still mentor some athletes. Jacinda Ramirez, who plays for LMU, was one of his that he would train, and so he, when he's asked to help, he'll help, but there's not like a solid group that he.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool that he's still involved though.
So he likes it.
Yeah.
I'll drag him out not that I'm doing my clinics that much anymore, but if there is one, I'll always bring him, because his mind is sharp and he has a lot of good things to say. He's very old school, which I like. So he kind of, I don't want to say dumbs it down, but if I say it a certain way, you can get a different aspect from him.
Yeah.
And then the kids seem to understand.
Yeah. I've worked with him a couple times back in the day, but yeah, I really liked. I kind of like the old school style too a little bit, but I feel like that's a good segue into getting to kind of like how the game has changed in your mind. Because obviously there's teams are incorporating different things now at the top level. So in your opinion, how has the sport evolved?
I feel like Matt and I have this conversation a lot, both baseball, and I feel on the volleyball side becoming very analytical. Data. People are going more with data, like speed of serve. And I hate missed serves, right? But I guess, the thing is, well, if I can get an ace and then miss a serve, like that's a good thing. And in my head, I'm like, that's crap, like put the ball in play and play defense. Like, don't let them off the hook.
Right.
So there's that. I mean, that athletes are, I feel like, getting more physical. They're getting taller. I would like to see, I don't want to say more split blocking, but I don't think a lot of the defenders learn the different position as much anymore. And I think that's just a piece that would make them better. Now everybody's like, I'm a blocker, or I'm a left side and I'm a right side, instead of I could do both, or what do you need me to do, and flip flop. And I think blocking has changed. It used to just be a 2, a 1, and a ball. Now it's a 4 and a 3. And to me, I'm like, that's the same concept. You're just making it more difficult. Like offensively, right? I'm like, you guys are making it more complicated than just it has to be. Even the offense, plan plays. I just feel like if you know the rhythm and the timing and you can feel the flow of the game, it just happens organically. Like, it shouldn't be a forced play. And I feel a lot now is becoming forced. And I think I saw that. I didn't get to watch much this weekend because I was busy with the kids. But on one of the Instagram, I think Sarah and Kelly, they won because there was a forced over on 2, right? Or something.
That was match point. Yeah.
Right? And
I think so. Yeah.
Julia hit it out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, to me, it was just a forced. It didn't have to be.
It needs to be organic. Yeah.
So
that's so fascinating.
I don't know. I just feel like you learn the simple game, you learn the blocking, and then everything lines up, the defender should be able to read, and you just kind of play cohesively. Nothing wrong with the athletes now, but I feel they're always trying to figure out play to play, or they're just so over analyzing and overthinking everything. And it does just play. Yeah. Feel the flow and just play.
I'm kind of like that as far as just less is more for me, and just like kind of feel the rhythm and see how the match unfolds. Give yourself to the tech, see what's happening, and then just like be ready to just adapt and adjust. And I feel like, was your play kind of like that as well, or how did you kind of implement that as a player for yourself?
I did. So I really we had great coaches. I really I didn't watch much video, and I'll be honest with you, like I would much rather watch video on myself training or what I'm doing so I can correct it, as opposed to watching another team and scouting via video. Because as a defender, it was harder for me to make that adjustment watching film on a team that was either playing somebody else or playing us previously, because it changes, right? There's never the same kind of shot. Everything changes in our game. More indoor, it's a little more pinpoint that we know in this rotation they're going to run this play or that play. Each, we don't know, the wind could be blowing opposite direction, and I mean there's many factors. But I like watching the shot chart. I got locked in a little better with defense when I saw a shot chart. It just allowed me to kind of narrow my choices down, or see where they were going. But I always felt like I'm one of those calm, collected people on the court. I didn't let my emotions get too much of me. But adjusting is the main thing, learning to adjust and not overthinking it so much.
So when you and Kerri were playing, like, would you guys just be in a ball read, or you kept it pretty simple as far as 1, 2? You kind of just gave each
1, 2 ball. Like if we were out of rhythm, we always went to the ball, because it was like, okay, if she can line up and she can get in a rhythm, then I can get in a rhythm defensively. But out of our all years, we never ran a 4 or 3. That it didn't exist. It didn't exist. It was just a 1 or 2.
Wow, old school.
That's interesting that it's basically break. So I was a swim team coach for a long time, and I would teach from infants all the way through adults and masters. And I would see some coaches go the full 25 meters and allowing these swimmers to make the same mistake for that full lap or full length of the pool. And I was like, well, why are you doing that? They're repeating that mistake. Just cut it in half and then work on that technique, and then you're going to increase it through practice. So it sounds like what you're saying is watching yourself, you're correcting your own mistakes, right? And fixing that, perfecting that before you apply it to, tournament play.
Well, I like to because I'm a visual. For as
Visual,
much as I
yeah.
want to say, oh yeah, I can turn on by somebody telling me, it always helps to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
So the coach could say, wow, you're not getting, you need to get your shoulder up. And to me, I'm like, feels like my shoulder's up and it feels right. Then I see it on video. I'm like, oh yeah, I see
Yeah.
what they're talking, I
Mm.
see what they're talking about. But I think you're on it. It's like the longer you let bad things go,
Mhm.
the longer it's going to take to correct it. So I like to figure out right away. And it's hard on the athlete and it's hard as a coach because there is going to be that downslope. Nobody likes uncomfortable.
Yeah, learning curve.
A learning curve.
Yeah.
And nobody likes uncomfortable and being unsuccessful. But then doing it the right way, you're going to get unsuccessful. And then it starts to go up.
Yeah.
And it becomes more consistent. And then it feels better. And then you can keep adding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something too, for me, I find benefit in watching players I want to emulate too. So like watching old film of you or watching old film of so and seeing what you guys did, and then I try to emulate that as well. So obviously I think there is definitely a benefit to watching yourself, but I also kind of like to watch people who I want to take little pieces from and make it my own also. Kind of like you were talking about of growing up watching those players and making it your own game.
And it's tough because to be at the top, you have to become a student of the game. And you got to put what you think you know to the side, like your ego. And some players will do that and some won't. Some think they have it and know it, and they're not interested in sitting and watching so-and-so play because they're like, oh, why would I be watching her, So it's the ones that kind of put that ego to the side and say, maybe I don't know. I'm going to watch, let's say Duda, and I'm going to see what she's doing. But you have a lot that are so still hard-headed that just, no, I know I got to focus on me and I know what I'm doing and I can fix it, instead of letting that guard down and just saying, maybe there is somebody better. Maybe there is somebody that does something better than I do.
Yeah, the growth mindset, we've talked about that a lot on a couple different podcasts, but I think it's really important as an athlete if you want to get to the top level. And like obviously we're touching base on a few things that I'm sure were huge parts in your continued success over your career, but what else would you say that you consistently did on and off the court that ultimately led to I mean, however many years of winning and winning and winning and more winning,
I think I always had the blinders on. You have to enjoy the journey, which is super important. Enjoy the process because there is a process to everything, but you have to enjoy the process. And I wish I would have done that just a little more, which is fine. But I kept blinders on. I was putting the work in. So when I knew that I needed to do that much more just to stay ahead, I didn't want to play catch up. And I felt I was very consistent at that, which made me the player that I was. But I wasn't afraid to ask questions either. And I think one time I asked Kevin, hey, Kevin Wong, like, what do you do on your blocking, or what are you doing? And he's probably like, why are you asking me this? Ask questions. That's the only way you can get better and feed off. There's so many experienced volleyball players and coaches and veterans that are probably happy to share information, but if they're never asked, then they're going to just keep it, to themselves. So I think asking questions and.
Yeah.
What player did you ask that you had like a really good conversation with? Like, oh, like this is really good insight. Do you remember? Or is there
Karch.
What was that? What was that conversation?
I mean, I worked out with him, so I'd go behind him passing. Okay. So he would go first, and I would do it next, and then he'd do defense, and I would do it next. Like, I mean, you can't ask for a better person to copy you, right? Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, this is awesome. It's like 3D.
That's so cool.
3D video training.
So looking back at your career, what were some of the personal sacrifices you made, and how did they shape your journey?
I think, with friends and family, we all sacrifice that time. But it was a choice that I made. So in hindsight, I don't look at it as a sacrifice because I made the ultimate choice. This is what I wanted to do, and this is how I have to do it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, would I love time back with my mom? Absolutely. Would I like to be closer with my friend? Absolutely. But the ones that understand you are the ones to keep near you.
Yeah.
And you start to kind of, your village starts to maybe fade a little bit, or people, you lose some people, which is fine, because the ones that understand you and that are there, those are really the ones you want on your team the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, you've maybe been asked this question before, but what did each gold medal mean to you? And what is your biggest takeaway from each quad?
They all had a different meaning. So the first one, I think Kerri and I were so naive going in. We had been labeled the favorites. We had won most of the AVPs, and then we were labeled the favorites going into 2004. That Greece, we're on the boat with the QM2 and with the NBA player, we're treated like rock stars, and get out there and we win. And then we're like, okay, party, off to AVP tournament. So it was just like, okay, this is what we do. And that's it. Then the second one, we made a coaching change. So our game kind of plateaued. I felt we were the most physical in 2004. Game kind of plateaued. We needed a little bit of change. Karch had mentioned Troy Tanner, who came from the indoor side. So we kind of took a back step in our game. We really took it back down, broke it down again, focused on our passing, just simplifying the game again. And Troy was really good. His mental, he's just a very zen kind of, yeah, man, type of personality, and took us down, worked on the fundamentals. So 2004 had that little different meaning, because we'd lost to the Chinese team. So it was going into the Olympics. We're playing in China. It's like, we're the favorites, but we had lost to this team before. And then we didn't know if we'd face our other, American team of EY and Nicole. And so that kind of brought a different aspect in. But before the 04, I had pulled an ab muscle too. So that was kind of different. Kerri and I didn't practice for about like 6 weeks together. She played with Rachel Walkholder in a couple tournaments, and I said, I'll be back. And so prepared for that. But 2008, we just, I felt like we worked a lot more on our mental game. So our mental game had picked up, and we had been there before, so we kind of knew what to expect, but our mental game was matching now our physical game. Then, we won. We enjoyed that journey. I thought it was going to be my last one. Went Dancing with the Stars. Injured myself. Kerri had, she had kids. So we took a 2-year hiatus. And then I thought, well, I played in an AVP event. It was Brazil versus USA. I was like a tank out there. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I'll try. And we ended up coming in second in the event. So I said, okay, I think I can push for one more. And I know we wanted a family. But when I had my family, I wanted to be able to be there for them. And so I said, okay, Matt, family on hold. Let me get this out of my system. I got one more in me. And Kerri and I rejoined, even though she'd already told Nicole she would. And I had to fly out here, and we had a talk, and we came back together. Another coaching change. So we came back with Marcio, who was a fiery Brazilian, and we were not the heavy favorites coming in, because we had not been together for 2 years, hadn't really won anything, and just were not the favorites. We ended up winning Switzerland, the tournament leading into the Olympics, which I think was important because it set the tone for that Olympic Games. And then we ended up winning a third, playing against US, which was great, but probably the most nerve-wracking match in all Olympic history for me, playing against your own countrymen to get a gold. So that was a completely different journey, because I knew it was my last journey, and we weren't the heavy medal favorites, really. So I think I enjoyed that journey a little more, and really opened up a little more to the process, and really taking everything in for that last time.
That sounds like a little bit of a better mentality than I think of. If I knew it was my last tournament, my last Olympics, I'd be like, oh my God, pressure's on, But I think it's good that it sounds like open to the possibility is a good.
And with that one,
Yeah.
our Kerri will argue with me. So if you talk to her, she will say something different. But I will honestly tell you, physically, I felt like I was going like this. Mentally, I was still like strong. Kerri will be like, I was getting physically stronger, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
God bless her. But I was like, God bless you. But physically, my 80% with my calf was like my 100%. And then I didn't feel like I was physically the same as the previous last 2 Olympics, but mentally I knew I could outlast kind of we could do it. So I felt like our mental game then took over for the physical. So it went from physical to matched to more mental than physical. I think that's just how it kind of goes.
And then you said Switzerland. So what event was that? Stade or
Gestad.
So then when you won that, just mentally, what was the shift like going into the Olympics after that? Like
I just think it leaves, so actually we were testing out coaches. So Liz Massakine had us write a list of all the tournaments, and our Kerri and I and Liz were supposed to write out the importance of how we saw the year going, like what tournament from 1 to, let's say, 10, what rank of importance is the tournament. And so when we came back to practice, Liz had like number 8 as the first one, like, oh, that should be like number 8 because we're just learning and growing. And, you know, her numbers went kind of all over the place. And then Kerri and I randomly started low. And then number 1 was Switzerland. Like we matched. So it was like our numbers matched all the way up. And the reason you always want to leave that lasting impression with your competitors, right? So the last tournament, you don't see them for another 2 weeks. And now they're like, oh, the team's back. Like they won in Switzerland and now we got the Olympics. So there is no in between. So the last time they've seen us, we won that event.
Just wanted to take a quick moment to thank our sponsor, Trust and Will. It's a super easy to use platform that helps you create a legal will, trust, or estate plan in just minutes. You can use the Bet on Her discount code for $50 off. Visit trustandwill.com.
And that's what you want to do. You want to put that taste, because now there's that, oh, we're in the tunnel and they're looking and they're like, you can tell if people are like ready or not, or how I feel like the energy of others, and you're waiting in the tunnel and people are looking the other way. I'm like, we got them today. Or,
Mind
or,
games.
or like warming up, you see people taping and I'm like, we got them. We're nervous. Yet
She's got
that's
a good
right.
eye. Yeah, that's how we earn fours.
The one eye's going this way, and the one eye's
The
going that way.
chameleon?
Yeah, the chameleon.
I love the mind games. That's awesome. Yeah. Do you guys have do you guys do anything in terms of mind games?
When I play Kelly.
Oh,
Yeah, we get each other's heads. But
Kelly likes to like chirp, like say funny things through the net. And I'm like, if I acknowledge her, I'm playing into her game. If I ignore her, I don't feed into it.
But
she
then
feeds off that.
if you ignore me, then I'm just gonna go headhunting and try and find your earrings and try and knock them off.
I've lost 2 earrings because of Kelly, but yeah.
have you ever talked to the net?
No, because you let your game speak. The only way to shut up a team and shut up a crowd is you just win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And then I always have that poker face. You don't know if I'm winning or losing. It's winning or losing.
Cool, collected. Yeah.
I try.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I unless somebody starts it, like it happened more with our indoor college team than anything. Like if somebody started it, then sure, then we'll let you have it or we'll let you know about it. But not so much on a volleyball court.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like I can't get under the net and then I'm gonna go punch you. Like it just
not like
doesn't
the men.
happen. You know, you can't like.
Yeah, I can't imagine you throwing a punch.
No. I don't. I will tell, and maybe you'll have to ask the AVP. I don't know. I don't think I've ever gotten a yellow card or a red
That's
card.
pretty good. I
Yeah.
don't think I have either.
You know why? Because
That's
my
a good stat.
Yeah.
my dad always said the ref shouldn't. You shouldn't have to rely on a ref's call. You know, you should be winning enough that you shouldn't have to rely if bad. Now I didn't use my hands anymore because I hated getting called. I was like, oh, I'll just go back to the bump. But so the refs made me put my hands away.
Yeah.
That's okay though.
It might work today with today's hand setting.
I saw that and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I have to face the same direction?
Yeah.
They can have it spin. You can
You
do
can
whatever
do
you want.
this. Yeah.
I saw the panel move a little.
Yeah, it's crazy. Question I kind of wanted to ask about, because I think you had mentioned this to me one time before, and it stuck with me, was how you didn't envy what we have to go through as athletes now, where we have sponsors and we've got to do all this social media obligation and stuff. So what was marketing yourself? How was it different when you were playing Because I feel like I remember you told me you're like all I had to do was show up and play, but like obviously it probably looks a little different, when you were sponsored and stuff versus when what some of what we have to do. Yeah.
I think what it is we had to do social media because it started to pick up.
Okay.
And I don't mind the social media side. I think what it is I don't like seeing athletes having to beg for a sponsor. Do your job and things will happen. Don't just pick up a sponsor just to pick up a sponsor. Find ones that work for you that you are loyal to. Loyalty is a big thing with me with sponsors. And that's why I think I kept a lot of my sponsors for a long time, was being very loyal. We did a lot of appearances. So don't get me wrong, did a lot of appearances. Social media wasn't as big as it was now. So I understand the likes and not and they're looking for certain aspects, which makes sense. I think what I just don't like seeing athletes getting sucked in and just getting a sponsor just to get a sponsor because they feel like they have to have one, instead of getting the right sponsor for them that is going to value them the way they should be valued, and then carrying it on for a while and really gaining a relationship with that company or that brand. And
Yeah.
Who were your sponsors when you were playing?
oh geez,
Yeah. I mean, the ones that you were like very loyal to, you had the relationships. Do you still have those relationships today? What does that look like?
well, I'm not playing, so it's like everything's like
Right.
kind of off the table now, and I don't have I had Bole at one point. I was with Oakley, Gatorade, Visa. I had Xbox when Xbox was AVP.
That's fun.
Chapstick, and a lot of these brands were with the AVP. Neutrogena. A lot of these brands were with the AVP for a while, so they helped. The AVP did help find sponsorships as well. And like being a Nike athlete. So my last Olympics, I was a Nike athlete, and I thought that was I had always wanted to be with Nike as a young kid, and I was head to toe. And even after I was done, they stayed with my contract for a few years after and would aid in my clinics, and that's very rare if you're done for a company to kind of continue on. But I always, like Oro was one. I always found brands that I used. Purina was like, I did something with Purina. So, I always found brands that I used and that I liked, not just to get the money and thank you very much. I had to believe in what I was doing and selling and backing the products.
Yeah, and I think it's important too because that's going to make the marketing more effective as well. If you're somebody that truly believes in the brand and the people who follow you, whether it's on social media or follow your career, like they're more likely, it's going to be more beneficial for the brand too.
So we had chances like the alcohol, and because I was doing clinics at the time, I was like, I don't like, since I'm doing clinics, I'd rather not alcohol. I'll drink it, but I won't. No,
I'll drink it after.
But so it's just different things like that. But I think the athletes now have to understand there's a value, and kind of once you set that value, it's hard to kind of back down. And if you see your value at a certain point, make sure that you're receiving that from your partners and not just taking something, filling up space, and then devaluing yourself.
Yeah.
And it may be a waiting game. It may be something you're like, nothing's coming about, but there will be something,
Yeah, that's good advice. And there's so many brands out there, and new ones popping up every day. So there are opportunities.
Okay, Misty, you become an inspiration to countless individuals around the world. And this question comes from our sponsor, Trust and Will. What message or legacy would you like to leave behind for future generations of athletes, particularly women striving to make their mark in sports?
I think just stay true to yourself. You see, I have no makeup. I got to repurchase makeup, but
You look great.
I try to remind my kids, like, you're beautiful on and off the court, win or lose, but just staying true to yourself. Don't lose yourself with everything going on. But we do have a trust. So yes, very important for all you people out there.
Yeah.
Especially with families. Make a trust. Otherwise, you're asking for problems
Yeah. Yeah.
later.
Also good advice.
But no, I think, that's the main thing. Keep your head, if you have a specific goal in mind, use the nose as fuel to fire that within and make it possible, right? There's nothing that's impossible. You can make everything possible. It just might take a different avenue for you to go, might take different work for you to go, but whatever you want, it's there. But I just, I think being a strong woman is key. And when I coach these athletes, some of them won't want to bulk up or they want to be this big because they're seeing somebody on social media and it's like, no, be strong, strong athletic bodies are cool. And, but I just think don't lose yourself. Even if you have a small team around you, make sure it's a team that's lifting you up. Anything that's taking you away from your goal or is causing drama, let it go. It's hard to cut those ties, but let it go. At the end, you're going to float. You want to float. You don't want to be anchored down. So it's okay to have a small team around you. Just be aware of, who you're involving in that team if you're headed in a certain direction.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Keep it simple.
Great
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah.
Can we do the speed round really fast? Do we have time for that?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't talk about Sarah.
Oh.
She's a board member, by the way, in our foundation.
Oh, she is. That's
She
awesome.
is. Yeah. So
Very cool. And congrats to her
But
for
they-
just winning
yeah.
the tournament this
Yeah.
weekend.
They kicked ass.
Yeah.
So- But anyways, that's it. Yeah.
I
I just had to throw in. She's a board member.
Yeah,
I,
that's awesome.
I texted her yesterday and I was like, or who did I text? I forget who I texted. I texted her, congratulations. It was a great win. But I was like, she's a different type of athlete, a different breed. She works so hard and she's has such a high IQ in volleyball and sees everything and she's everywhere. And I admire her a lot. She's
And she's a
great.
strong woman.
She is so
Have
strong.
you seen her workout?
Her workouts,
videos?
yeah.
She's changed. So that's one of the
Yeah.
things. She's had to change her workouts and had to work on some aspects. She's shooting line a little more. I was like, okay, finally you're shooting line. But that's one that her training has changed. So you can tell it's changed on the court.
Yeah.
And it takes a while. It doesn't happen overnight. And it takes just everybody, you'll find what works for you.
Do you think she's playing the best volleyball she's been playing?
I still, I'm the coach. I'm like, I still think there's some things they can work on.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I said I would like to see them work on is consistency. They can't have the ups and it's like at this point now with them being together in college and then reunited and they're playing well, they got to start working on just more consistent instead of ups and down,
Yeah.
Especially now with the Olympic qualification. This is crunch time for them. So it'll be exciting to watch. I mean, this weekend they put on a show, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do the quick speed round really
Okay.
fast.
Well, I'm not that speedy.
It's got a little fun.
It's going to be just 10 questions. We'll see how this goes. But okay, the first question, jump serve or float serve?
Float serve.
Big court or small court?
I'll go old school, big court.
Oh, okay,
Nice.
girl. Side out or rally score?
Side out.
Oh, yeah.
Old school. I
Yeah.
like it. Okay, humidity or dry heat?
Humidity.
Okay. Wind ball or no wind?
Wind ball.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Wind ball for sure.
Stadium court or outer courts?
Stadium.
All right. Okay, girl. You always had your little dance moves coming
I know,
out.
that's-
there.
Yeah.
I know. I loved it.
You got to figure it out,
Headband or visor?
Headband. I don't want a ceiling. I feel like a ceiling is on me.
Yeah, I always remember you wearing the headband.
Yeah.
the white
I've
Nike,
tried to wear a hat and I'm like, oh, I feel like
restricted. Okay. Mikasa, Wilson, or Spalding?
oh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go Mikasa. That means I'm gearing up for the Olympics.
Fours or twos? Or doubles?
Oh,
Tough ones.
well, now it is 40 and over, fours.
That's
if I
a fa-
was younger, doubles. But
That's a good answer. All right. Last one. Number 10. Sydney, Athens, Beijing, or London?
Nice.
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 That was good.
That was
Great answers.
That was
Wait, we got to
awesome.
insert. Oh, now the speed round with Misty May.
Right here. That's what it
Wait, do it again. You gotta do it again. The magical Moana.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the last question here, which is, how do you take a bet on yourself, or how have you taken a bet on yourself?
It was coming back after my injuries.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the Achilles, probably the worst injury on anyone. And even when Kobe came back, I had he said he would be back in 8 months, and I was like, there, with all your doctors, I'm like, there is no way, because I had just gone through it. And my first tournament back, I tore my MCL because I went down for a short ball. It just changes your whole gait and your form of walk. You have to learn how to walk again, and my calf is not the same. And what happened? I think he went to cut in a game, and he tweaked his MCL, and I was like, oh, same thing, just from the injury. And I was like, I hope he can get back in 8 months, but I'm just being real. That I was like, oh, there's just no way. It took me a good year to figure it out. But I would say that London Games, because they were like, oh, well, they're older now, and the Achilles, and nobody saw that. But that's where, if you're going to bet on yourself, then you keep your unit tight and you keep everything at home. And between Kerri and I, it was like, we believed we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the outside chatter, don't read articles, don't look at anything, and you keep it here. It's stronger as a unit. I'll always bet on myself. I was trying to think of like pressure, because I feel like the athletes now have a lot of pressure and anxiety. Mm-hmm. And there's that like fear of fail. It's like everybody fails, right? Failure makes you better. But I was like, if I was ever playing with somebody, and even indoor, I'm like, I'll put the last point on me. Like, I want the ball. I'll take that pressure off of you. And it's not going to be if we win the game because of what I did on that play. But if we lose the game, I'm equipped to handle that failure, that I'll take it. I'll relieve it from you. If that's how the outcome's going to be, I'll take all the pressure on my shoulders to help relieve that person. If that may, I don't know, why I threw that in.
No,
but I was like, I was thinking about that today, and I was like, I want to be that player. And I hope there's more players out there that are like, serve me. It's crunch time. It's 22, 21, whatever. I'm equipped to handle this because I want to relieve the pressure of the team, or I want the weight on my shoulders, because ultimately in the end, it's going to be okay. Like,
yeah, that's
if
awesome.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good reframe.
Do you guys watch? You guys watching the NBA playoffs?
Yeah.
You guys are familiar with?
Are they on Disney? Or are they on Nickelodeon?
No, unfortunately not.
That's a no.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm saying that is because there's the saying of playoff Jimmy Butler from Miami. He's always like, he's a different type of player during the playoffs, and they're like, give him the ball. He wants to take the last shot. He takes on that responsibility. Trust him with it. And if he fails, he could take it still, but playoff Jimmy, playoff Misty.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I threw that little tidbit.
Oh, I love it. It was great.
I'm going to take notes on that.
Yeah.
So I think more players just have to, crunch time. I just see the pressure and anxiety. And it's like, there's going to be winners and there's going to be people that fall short. That's just the nature of sport. But it's like, welcome that and say, I want the ball. I can do it. I believe in my ability. I can do it. And if for some reason it doesn't, then I'm equipped to handle that. And I will take, dang it, I could have put that away. I lost the game. It's okay, and allow, I don't know, the pressure to just go to the cloud. The cloud.
The cloud now.
Wherever that is.
The May Gray that we've been having for 3 weeks.
So.
Yeah.
How cool. Wow.
Well, this was great. It was great meeting you. Thanks for coming on our podcast.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We'll have to have you back, and then we're going to have to play 4 soon.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah. Do you play pickleball?
I did with Holly once, but there's pickleball courts near us. I would love to play pickleball.
We'll come to you.
So, but I can play anywhere. I'll pickle it up anywhere.
I love it.
But no, it's fun. Yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Haven't done many podcasts, but for you guys, yep. Yes. I will.
Appreciate it. And very cool to announce about your foundation.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll put a link for that.
No worries.
Yeah.
And this is the Bet on Her podcast.
And cut.
Great job, everybody.